So here we are, with the first MCU film of 2019 and the movie prior to the highly anticipated release of Avengers 4. Unless the thumbnail and the introduction so far haven't clued you in yet, today we're discussing Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. Enjoy! So what can I say that adds to the table of the ever-growing world of critics? Truthfully, nothing new or lightly compelling. All I can give you is my honest opinion, and that is all. So Captain Marvel. It's a film that many were hoping for, myself included. It was a chance to introduce a new hero to the ever-expanding world of the MCU. Not only that, but if handled well, she could hands down be the hero that we need to propel the future of the MCU into the future and beyond. But before getting to any of that, the movie in question itself. Did it live up to its potential? Yes and no. What I can say about Captain Marvel is that it was an enjoyable film. However, compared to the standards that the MCU have delivered so far in recent years, notably standouts being Civil War, Black Panther and Infinity War, this film notably lacks in delivering anything new or otherwise outstanding compared to earlier origin story films. Quite a few have called this film the weakest in the series releases, up there with the likes of Thor: The Dark World and to some Iron Man 2. And I agree with this. On some pros, I can say that all around it was a well-acted and cast-brilliantly film, with some catchy, groundbreaking special effects, primarily the de-aging technology. They were amazing, and a decently otherwise expected 90s soundtrack. Nothing stood out to me, but I think they did okay for what they were expecting for an audience response. But for me, the highlight of the movie was Sam Jackson's portrayal of young Nick Fury and his partnership with Carol Danvers throughout the majority of the second and third acts. For me, they were the best parts of the movie, mostly because of Jackson's on-screen charisma, as well as the fact that we are mutually seeing familiar in a new environment that is unfamiliar to what we've seen before. He feels a lot more laid back and a lot more less like the man who leads everyone in later films, and that felt so refreshing and interesting. It was something I wanted to see more of. There was a part of me that almost wishes we'd be getting a Fury and Coulson Disney Plus spin-off or miniseries. Unlikely, of course, but yeah, that's something that I would love to see more of. Unfortunately, it's not in with the rest of the movie. The use of the scrolls in this film also, another pro here, they will arrive. However, for their big debut into the MCU, I felt they were severely underused when it came to their powers. What wasn't a waste, though, was the main leader of the Skrulls himself, Talos, played by Ben Mendelsohn. His portrayal as a war veteran trying to do right for the good of his people and, as we discover, for his family, was truthfully an unexpected surprise to me. He is by no means one of the MCU's greatest characters, but he sure does leave an impression and is definitely a character that I'm more than excited to see again in future films if they choose to. On to the cons, however. It's no secret to a lot by now that Brie Larson has gotten a lot of fans upset and angry at certain comments and actions she's made in the past year, as well as recent as the weeks leading up to the release of Captain Marvel and how she chose to handle the press tour. But yeah, putting that all aside, for the character herself, Carol, I think Brie Larson, as the title hero Carol Danvers, plays the role with what she's given with well. I'd say on the surface level, for a superhero protagonist, she's alright. However, the biggest flaw of her character is her lack of emotional depth or an interesting or emotionally investing arc. She isn't complex, basically, and as first impressions go after my first viewing, she lacks in areas as well, notably in the range of emotions she presents to us based on the events she's enduring. This is not down to Larson herself. I think she's a decent actress, but it's down to the writers and the directors, I guess notably the directors, and how they directed her throughout the film. She doesn't have a driving arc as well to pull her through the film that allows us to see multiple sides to her. A lot of the potential emotional scenes we could have gotten from her were wasted by having them be thrown in fast scenes. An example being when she finds out more about her human life. That moment where she finally pieces together her past should have been a big emotional moment to her. Instead, it's all done in a quick scene where this little girl keeps telling to us about that time you did this and the time you did that. And with flashes of photos of said times appearing. And I kept thinking, why couldn't we have gone a more intimate and drawn-out scene of her looking at these photos herself and maybe reacting to them and showing a deeper emotional side to her beyond a warm smile? Because let's be honest, I think anyone in Hollywood can do a warm smile. It takes a lot more to show us how they're feeling just by their reaction. And I think that was lacking in a scene like that required that. And this affects the rest of the movie, in my opinion. All the emotional moments and scenes throughout the movie where we should have spent more time with, and why we should have empathized with her more, just felt like they just felt very rushed or cut down at points. And a lot of the other bits were explained through exposition. I mean, literally, her Earth friend Mira, I think, she literally tells us the basics of her character and how she was before she became powerful. And again, I just think why couldn't we have seen this, or otherwise maybe seen it mirrored and imitated in her characteristics as Varys before she figures this out? And regarding her arc, the only one that she really has throughout the film that even gets resolved, is her trying to uncover her past and be frustrated about not knowing it. These aren't really compelling emotional stakes, in my opinion, and as they aren't personal. Again, they might be personal to her, but we never really get a scene of her showing us that. It's more just a hindrance to her. Again, you look at Thor from the first film, and how he changes throughout the entire movie. He learns, and we see different sides to him. He's definitely a different man from the selfish want to be king by the start of the film, and by the end of the film, he's humbled to know that he's not ready for it yet. With Danvers, though, she's pretty much the same person as she was when the film starts, and by the end of it, she's the same. She just knows her past now. I also feel like the Star Force and Young Rog, I think that's how his name pronounced, Jude Law's character, they were also severely underused and not utilised, especially when it came to investing emotionally for the main cast and the character itself. These are characters that I think we should have spent more time with. We should have gotten to know them more as a team working with Verse. Well, just call it Carol. And it all boils down to what we should have gotten. And I think the first act of the film should have focused on them working as a team and seeing how good things are for Carol. She should think that she's on top of the world. She should think that she's fighting for the good fight. She's fighting for her friends. She's with her friends, and they're doing great. And so when the betrayal happens and we find out she was working with the bad guys all along, that hits more home. Whereas in the finished result, it just feels we only even spend like 15 minutes maybe with them before she's separated from them, and then it just goes on for the rest of the movie. And after that, she doesn't really react with them except for a fight scene. Even then, the only time she really interacts with them is with Young Vogue. She doesn't really get a personal moment between any of the other team members. And there's this one character, this sniper character. I know she's from the comics, but I don't know off the top of my head. And there's a throwaway line during the final fight where she asks her, "Is this why you never liked me?" And her retort is, "Oh, I never liked you to begin with." And again, implication is that they had a sort of rivalry. But again, why couldn't we have seen this? Or better yet, why couldn't we have had a scene earlier in the film where she's trying to be friendly with her, and Sniper Girl retorts and refuses to interact with her, and she could have had a moment thinking, why does she hate me? What is it? Something I did in my past that I can't remember? It's because I feel this deep connection with her. I'm sure we were friends once, and we could find out later in the film, once her past starts to come back, that this feeling of friendship you were projecting onto her, it wasn't for her, it was for your Earth friend Mira. I think that would have been more compelling, and it would also again subtly set the groundwork for them having that moment later and make more sense. As it stands, though, we should have gotten more with them. We should have seen more screen time. We should have seen her form a deeper connection with them. Because in the finished result, it's just more of the expected basics. Again, they're part of a team, and they do have one scene working as a team together. That's it. And we're expected to be invested in them. Onto Mira, the character Mira herself. I think she's done alright with what she's given with, but I think we should also have seen more of her as well. She only comes into play near the end of the second act and the third act. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've had characters before who've come to the end of the act and they've done their part well, and we liked them. But I think that on the level they were kind of setting up and how they were saying, oh, in promotional stuff, this film is about these two characters and their friendship. Honestly, I felt more of a relationship between Steve and Peggy Carter because they spent time together talking and interacting and getting to know each other. And even though it was tied into the overall story of World War II and dealing with the Red Skull, we felt a development between the two and we understood why they grew to love each other, which made it more tragic when they couldn't get together. With this film, she's got more of a connection with Nick Fury than she does with her friend, I think. And that's just based off seeing this film and not being told her past, literally, because her friend literally tells her about her past, again, as I told her earlier. But I think for what she's given with, she does alright. But again, she's another case of we should have gotten more of her. And on to her kid as well. I will say, I mean nothing against the actress, but I understand that child actors are very difficult in Hollywood, and they're not always good. I think personally she wasn't good. However, by no means was she a terrible actress. I felt that her delivery was very basic. It felt like she was the unexpected child actor that you get in a lot of TV movies. It didn't feel like she was not constantly focused and just reading lines read off a script. It just felt like she didn't have the strength or skill as an actor to put herself into the character. That's the kind of vibe I got. I just felt like, I guess the best way of putting it is that you watch the cast of Stranger Things, you believe they're playing characters. Whereas with this film, I felt like with the screen time she's got and the lines she's given and how she's delivering them, it just felt like she's just here because she's part of the expected trope of you've got to have the kid in there to make the kids laugh or make the adults feel a connection with this other character, or you've got to just have her there so she can set up Carol's design for her suit. I just think she didn't need to be in the film, is what I'm saying. And hopefully, if things have been set up in a certain way, hopefully we won't have to see her again. And if we do, hopefully she'll be more mature and played by a different actress. Because I know that by 2018, by the time span of Avengers Endgame, she should be a young woman by then. So if we ever do get a sequel and it's set post Endgame, and we have to see more of her, then I'm okay with that. But I think for this film, for this scene and for the scene she's given for this character, I just think she wasn't needed. Back onto the rest of the film, however, and again, more of the emotional stuff, I just think it's executed very underwhelmingly at points. Stuff about her past and who she is just delivered in scenes and flashes. Again, sorry, I guess what I'm trying to say overall, and I think for an overall verdict of this film, is okay. One more thing, sorry. Yeah, and last thing I have to add is that Goose the cat. Again, I'm an animal person, love animals, love cats, but to all the critics saying that this was the standout character for the film, honestly, the standout was Nick Fury, because a lot of it was him reacting to Goose, especially when they're on the spaceship and the scenes happening and how he reacts to them. I just think they were a lot more entertaining than the cat itself. Again, the scene where we find out about his Falcon Power abilities, and when she's fighting back against the Kree, the Skrulls, the Kree. It again kind of mirrored the scene with Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. Nothing funny, I guess, but it's not really laugh out loud funny or emotionally investing funny. But yeah, I just think Goose did the role decent justice. I guess she's a cat, but for a mascot, I guess, of the film, okay, but by all means not the standout. Because again, the standout for me, Fury all the way. But yeah, sorry, for the overall verdict, I'd say for Captain Marvel, it's okay. I think anyone can go and see this movie and enjoy it for a weekend. They can enjoy a good 2 hours of just seeing some action, some fun humour from Sam Jackson, his delivery. And I think Brie Larson does okay with what she's given with. But if you're going into this film expecting her to be a character piece, to seeing a character that we grow and learn to love and care for and want to see more of in the future and be developed more, you're going to have to wait for the sequel or maybe Endgame if that can even do her justice. Because honestly, I think this film, for the reputation it was set up for by the press tours and everything else that was said in the years leading up to it, we should have gone better. And I think they didn't deliver on that. I think what they did deliver was decent, but compared to a lot of the MCU films we've gotten recently, decent doesn't cut it for everyone, and I think that's going to affect this film greatly. So if they do end up doing a sequel, they've definitely got to they've got to make it more personal. They've got to make the stakes more gut-wrenching and difficult, and make us care more about Carol beyond the surface level. And I might do another video discussing potentials for Captain Marvel later on, but we'll leave that for now. I just think this film is okay, but it should have been a whole lot more better. I am not concerned for her involvement in Endgame. I think that the Russo brothers know what they're doing, and regardless of how people think this film has affected the universe going forward, I think it's not damaged it. I think there's still potential for the future to go, and I think that as long as the MCU keep that ground to them, it will be fine. I just think that this is a little hiccup in the series, and they can learn from it. So yeah, that's my review of Captain Marvel. Again, nothing new to add, I guess, but it's nice to get my thoughts out. So, thank you for joining us today. I am Kobi, and thank you for watching our reviews, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.